Bryan Bercik,
Yes, sir.
welcome to the Step It Up Entrepreneur Podcast, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is cool shit, man. We've known each other now for quite a bit. You came in Apex Entrepreneurs. You are a good friend of Dan Costantino, who was actually one of my last guests on this show. A week ago, he sat right there in your chair.
Nice.
And here you are. Dan kind of introduced you to us, and you came into the Apex ecosystem after $1 Million Mastermind last year. And just seen you level up pretty hard and pretty heavy since then, which has been pretty cool.
I jumped in full speed.
Oh, no shit.
For sure.
Yeah, I realized very quickly that you have two modes. It's either off or on.
Yeah, no doubt. It was, it was refreshing to be a part of and come into a mastermind that, you look at Stewman and he has the background of jail and, drugs and, drug problems. And you're like, damn, look at that dude, man. This is really possible. I'm like, I came from that background. So it was, and then, Steve Weatherford at the end, man, would really seal the deal of wow, this is an ecosystem that I can buy into. And everyone in it, everyone was, giving you so much information and game, and you meet guys like Sammy Knight and, thanks to Dan, for bringing me down to that. But it was like energy that I've never felt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, man. People ask us or ask me often, and I'm the operations guy here. For anyone who's listened to this show, they know that, right? My title is COO, Chief Operations Officer, but I still do some sales, right? It's not like my main thing, but if someone calls up and wants to buy something, I'm gonna fucking sell it to you.
I reached out to you when I signed up.
Yeah, you sure did, and I closed you.
Yeah.
But my whole point of saying that is, I often have trouble putting into words what Apex is and how it will impact someone's life, because there's no simple, quick answer to it. And until you experience it for yourself, it's hard to describe.
It's undoubtedly hard to describe. So I'm only an introvert when it comes to I'm an introvert at heart, but I'm an extrovert when it comes to sales and all that stuff. So I remember once Dan wasn't there anymore and I came down to the first meetup and I'm all in, I'm all by myself. I flew down, I went to dinner and I remember when I first walked in, I was I looked around and I remember I walked immediately right back out.
Yeah.
And then I was stopped myself in the lobby. I'm listen, dude, you paid for this, you signed up for this, give it a real shot. And, I went in and introduced myself to some of the guys, and it was just immediate, hey, happy to hear, hey, where you from, what do you do, and, we've talked about this a couple times on some of our coaching calls and stuff. It's the culture inside of this group is unbelievable.
So you walked in, kind of fuck, man, what did I just get myself involved in?
Very much.
And the people were very welcoming and basically hey, man, I'm genuinely interested in who you are, what you do, and how I could possibly help you.
Or I wouldn't still be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I again, I've been to a few other, things like this before, and it's just been like that. Let's give you the basics and then kind of kick you out the door type deal.
Yeah.
It's not, and nothing like that. I mean, obviously when you come down here and you get to experience it and you're in the group setting and it's life changing.
Yeah, for sure. Let's dive into you a bit, man. Right. Tell me a bit about the current company you got, which is Hemlock.
Yep.
Right. I know you're a partner in there, but tell me about that company. Tell me how it started and kind of the journey you went through to get that company to where it is today.
Yeah. So I'm part owner of Hemlock Homes, which we're a two-tiered company. So we do interior residential remodeling, and then we do custom home building. On your own lot, which is not outside of developments, so a lot trickier. But so right now we have 8 field guys in-house that do the construction on the remodeling division. We have 2 field supervisors and then 4 office staff. We closed out the year last year at right around $7.5 million.
Hell yeah.
In 2 years.
2-year-old company.
2-year-old company.
Yep, 7 figures.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to try and get it to 8 this year. Obviously, we made it through COVID and all those things, but that's a whole other story. But
Sure.
I've been in real estate since 2000, 13. Started buying some rental properties, doing flips. I did a bunch of flips, and then also basically just started looking at how scalable that was. I'm like, all right, well, this is, there's a lot that goes into this. Acquisitions, dispositions, there's a whole other thing that goes into that. And, obviously I started out as a hammer swinger and started to learn the game, and it's expensive. Real estate is expensive. You learn your mistakes cost you a lot of money, and that's how you feel it.
Yeah.
I went and worked for... I've always been in sales, so operations is something I sit in now, but it's new to me. I've always been in sales. I went and worked for a flipping company in Pittsburgh, and I got an absolutely ridiculous education, and I got paid 6 figures. So it was a win-win.
Hell yeah.
I did their acquisitions. I was able to collectively with them as the team take them from doing about 47 flips a year to about 92. But I also, what I really learned is how a beginning business that was 2 or 3 years old can scale that fast. I also watched all the do's and the don'ts. And so whenever, that partnership between us, separated, I started looking at, real estate, and I'm like, well, where's the next vulnerable space? I was like, I don't know any builders who are young. So a friend of mine I went to high school with introduced me to his cousin who branched out, who worked for one of the the top big home builders in Pittsburgh, and we kind of sat down and at a restaurant and drew it out on a napkin for about 2 months. And I said, listen, man, I'll bring sales and operations, you bring construction, and I'll bring the money. So I went out and borrowed. We went out and borrowed about 1.25 million private, and then started building houses.
Yeah. That's wild, man. So you kind of just went in there, you borrowed some money to get this thing kicked off. There was no guarantee.
No.
Like what happened if this thing shit the bed out of the gate? Now you guys both owe 1.25 in private money.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because I've never built a house before.
Yeah.
And I never did any business with this dude ever in my life. So, and he kept telling me, he's like, dude, it's, it's systemizable, it's scalable, it's predictable to some degree. We decided on, being the authority in our neighborhood. So I live in South Park, which is a little metropolitan outside of Pittsburgh, and that's where we did our first 2 builds. At first, my lender, who I borrowed a lot of money from flips from, was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he was like, we backed out of the deal, and he was like, yes. Yeah. And then I called him 2 days later. I was like, hey, we're going to do it. He's like, no. But, obviously now he's like, man, I really was glad I was a part of, being your guys' success story. But so we did, and it was crazy because when he was, and my partner was true, whenever I started seeing this framing go up, and you got 14 Amish dudes up there and framing a house in 7 days, I said, oh my God, this is scalable. Yeah, so it was like that aha moment of like, he's right. If we can just get this thing figured out. Yeah. But I learned a very valuable lesson at the end of this. So when we finished them, we went to sell them because they were specs. Well, the first question that everyone asked was who built it? Well, I don't know this company. And it wasn't even Hemlock Homes then. It was just like BBSP Holdings, because we didn't know what we were doing. We were just trying to figure this out. Yeah. So we had no brand, no name. Got it. People were like, I don't know if these guys are going to be around to warranty my house. I've never heard of them. And they sat for a while. And, I learned the power of branding during that moment. Yeah. So and lost a lot of money.
Got it. So you lost money because those suckers sat for a while.
Yeah. And our interest at one point was $16,000 a month.
Damn. Yeah, that'll add up real fast.
Real fast.
So basically you learned that you need to have that brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's carried over not just from the professional aspect of, Hemlock Homes, which is what it is now, but also for yourself personally.
Yes. And, ever since then I went somewhat, hard on social media. And then when I got in here, I ramped that up to, daily posts of, through consistent platforms. And we spent $10,000 in marketing last year. Right. To do what we did. So it's all built through organic and referral.
Yeah, that's wild, man. How many houses did you build a year at this point?
We sold 19 last year and finished 14 or 15.
Got it.
So the goal is to sell 30 this year and finish 20.
Yep, it's making moves, my friend. One of the things that that really impressed me with you going into the whole systems things is you got your shit dialed in. Like, you know what your expenses are. What you have, how many, like for instance, electrical outlets are going into the average house, what your cost is on those. Like, you have all of that shit dialed in. Mm-hmm. And I think from the outside looking in, people are like, well, what's the big deal? It's just a light switch. It's just a receptacle, a wall plate. Yeah. When you have 400 of them in a fucking house, that small amount adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah, so we learned early on, every time it was like a client would be like, oh, I want this, like during the middle of a build, and you're like, it's no big deal. That's $1,000. You do that 10 times, that's $10,000.
Yeah.
You times that by 20 houses, that's $200,000.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy that operates like that. So I'm in consistent audit mode on invoices, and then between, because contractors, our subs and our preferred partners love to try and raise the price without saying anything, and then most people just pay it. Luckily, I audit all that, and we have like receipt invoice approval, so we catch a lot of that problems because, like I said, I mean, the painter raises his price $2,000 across 20 houses, $40,000 you just lost like that, and you didn't even like start.
Yeah.
So
when you're trying to figure in your numbers and see, what your net profit is on the end of a job, you're trying to put these projections out there. Then all of a sudden, some dude from left field raises his prices by, X percentage. And then the other subcontractor does the same thing because he heard he got away with it. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, you're $80,000. $100,000. That shit happens fast in your industry.
Yeah, I was just talking on the way over here about, Q4 was rough for us. We decided as a collective team that when COVID hit, we were not going to ask any of our clients for any more money.
Right.
So being a 2-year-old company, we lost just over $440,000 net profit projected.
Damn.
Which is not a little bit of money. That's life-changing money to most people, and obviously still to me myself. But the integrity is our core value, so it's on our wall. And like, I treat people and our clients how I'd want to be treated.
Yeah.
And we have these, everyone from the outside looking in, is like, you got to have an escalation clause in your contract. I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing you don't understand. When most people buy a house, especially our clientele, who's like the second-time buyer or first-time buyer, they don't have $50,000, $60,000 laying in their bank account for oh shit money.
Right.
So what are you going to do when they tell you we don't have it or no?
Yeah.
You're going to end up in court, pay the attorney, or you're just going to hold your brand strong and finish out and hope you can make it through the end.
Yeah.
So what happened is we moved, our systems go on 7 draws. So it's basically a draw a month and the house is done. We had to move 5% from the back end to the front end to cover lumber overages since lumber skyrocketed. Well, being in operations and not running a company of this, this magnitude before, I didn't realize that I was creating a big problem because we just shifted $25,000 to $32,000 from the front end or from the back end to the front end. So when you get to the back end, you're short.
Yeah.
So now I had to cover that across 6. So Q4 was getting our head above water on a deficit of about $120,000.
Yeah. Get it done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're at like the last 7.
Yep.
But like, I've been in the trenches.
Yeah, you've been grinding to make it happen.
Extremely hard. And luckily we have remodeling.
So let me ask you a question. Like in the trenches means different people for different roles depending upon where they are in their business life. At one point for you, being in the trenches was swinging a hammer.
Yeah.
For me, it was installing, electronics and vehicles. What's the trenches like for you now?
I'm driving revenue.
Okay.
Yeah, massively.
So how are you driving revenue as far as sales? Or are you talking about...
I jump back in sales in the remodeling division. Okay. So we had a sales guy. And again, I made the mistake of not managing correctly, and we were running very, very poor margins. So from December of last year to December of this year, we were at a whopping, I think, 11%, like maybe net, maybe 7.
Yeah,
we got it to, we're at 29.5% gross, about 24%, net now. So we fixed that, which saved a lot of our issues.
Sure.
Luckily for remodeling, because if it wasn't for that, new construction we would have been bankrupt.
Yeah, that'll fuck you real fast.
Yeah.
You and I've had this talk too. I had that epiphany when I had started bringing in the right people into my team at my last company, and we finally realized, like, oh shit, we're kicking out these estimates for these big jobs that are states away, maybe a 3-month project, and we think we're making all this fucking bank, and we're not.
No.
And when you start laying it out, when you have that template and that model built correctly, where you can go in and enter the right numbers, and on the back end it tells you, okay, cool. If everything goes well, you got 17% net profit on this job. If everything goes great, you've got 29% net profit on this job. And it kind of shows you all the in-betweens. But we started doing this and realizing that all the quotes that we had kicked out up to that point were less than 20% profit margin.
Me and you talked about this.
Yeah.
I was running off gross numbers, not net.
Yeah, yes,
I was
sir.
in an oh shit moment. I
Yes.
said, I fucked up, and I fucked up a lot because I just sold about 28 jobs, and I got to fulfill them all now.
Yep, exactly. And for me, one of the challenges was, from a service-based business perspective, was weather.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my work is done outside. I know yours is too. And I've come in my last place I lived was the Northeast.
Yeah.
We dealt with snow, and a lot of times we were heading up into further in the Northeast, going into Boston and Connecticut to do jobs, and Rhode Island. Like, dude, if it fucking snows up there, you're done. Yeah. Like, whatever you had planned for that day, 2 or 3 days, just wipe it the fuck off the calendar, and you ain't getting the time back. So that used to fuck with us big time. That would really mess with projections. We could never assume what the weather was going to be from one winter to the next.
Oh yeah,
because you'd have like a mild winter one year, and the next winter you'd just get fucking hammered. Really throw things off for us.
Yeah, and it's small stuff. So for us when we first started, I think we did our first year. I think it was like $1.1 million, and then I think year 2 we did about 4.5, and then like I said, we were almost close to 8 this year. And there's the hurdles to go from 1 to 4 open up new problems, and then 4 to 8 opens up a whole other can of problems. Now we're trying to go to about 10.5, but not sell anymore. It's just complete more on efficiency.
Right.
So again, it's for me, I'm just full in operations now. I'm sitting in 100% driver's seat of operations because again, we're working on projecteds, and we're getting into PO systems, and we're getting into a lot of that kind of stuff that luckily I formed a team that has worked for the big builders who work 300, 400 houses a year. So they know the systems, they know the processes. Like, we're moving into our new office. We made the move going from a C neighborhood into our A neighborhood where we're the authority in, just because one thing about the Apex stuff is learn to talk about your authority of your area, and that's resonated with me. And this A+ neighborhood is where I want to be. Yeah. And but I have now a conference room, which is going to look basically like, Goodwill Hunting. Mm-hmm. It's going to have nothing but numbers on the wall inside there of like where we're at, where we need to be, where's our budget, where we at weekly. Every single week we're auditing this, because when you start getting into 10 million, your mistakes are extremely expensive.
Sure.
And again, you have the responsibility of all your team members, your partners, and your clients for one. I mean, they're picking you to build a home. It's not a small fucking task.
No, it's not a small task. That's an enormous amount of I think stress on you guys as the owners of that company, because when someone calls you up and says, "Hey, I don't just want to buy a home. I want you to custom build a home for me to exactly what the fuck I want."
From a drawing that's in a magazine.
Yeah. So this is them putting the extreme trust into you and your team. Yep. Right. And if you don't handle this thing correctly from start to finish, and you and I both know that building a home isn't a 2-day fucking project, right? You're talking months, right? There's so many variables that can go in. There's so much communication that needs to go back and forth and left, right, sideways, and everything in between. If that shit isn't in place, and if you're not leaving that person at the end of that project with, raving reviews, a smile from ear to ear, then you fucking failed.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's been a big thing for us, is we focus a lot on reviews. So we've been able to come out the door really hot with a lot of reviews, which has built, again, brand credibility and solidifying ourselves into the marketplace. We actually have, that's been the biggest thing I've been very proud of, is for being a 2-year-old company, we are, again, because of, brand presence and things of that nature. I mean, we have a space in that sector now. And there's not a lot of builders that do on your lot stuff, because there's even more variables, dirt. We're moving gas lines, and we're doing 1,000-foot sewer run lines. I mean, you're building 14 feet over a hill. You're clearing, it's nuts, and you're doing construction on a massive level. Yeah. Which is, again, the Northeast, it's been 12. So we're trying to get footers in the ground. It's 12 degrees. It's frost.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So, and, things too, right now, I have about 5 million sold in construction in 2022 already, but we've been having permitting issues on 5, 6. So I haven't made any money, no profit in the last 90 days. I'm still paying payroll. We got, all these things that you're not factoring in when you're like, oh, I'm going to start this business. You're not going to think you're going to get jammed up on, this and that and township requirements and all these things. And I have a team to deal with some of this, and it's still extremely hard.
Yeah.
It's
wild, man. It really is. Let's switch gears here for a minute. I guess it was a couple months back at this point. You and your team threw your first successful event. We did. Yeah. So tell me about the event. What kind of sparked the idea to throw the event? What was the event for, and how'd it go?
Yeah. So we moved into our office space right when COVID was like full go. Yeah. We were the only state in the country where they shut down construction. So you were shut totally down. New construction, remodeling, everything, you are done. Like, they shut down the 4th largest home builder in the country, who builds 17,000 houses a year. We're the only state that did that. So we focused on that, and we were never able to have like a, hey, get to know Hemlock party. So everything kind of, started opening up in Pennsylvania. We're obviously a slower moving state because we're a Commonwealth. So things have been limited for a very long time. And as things started to open up, we did a pretty cool project in the city of Pittsburgh that had amazing city views and rooftop decks. And it was a 4-unit townhome development. So we decided what better place to, throw a party than to have rooftop decks and provide, thing for everybody. So we did it as a realtor event. We wanted all the realtors to come and see, our work and get to know us and sit down and have a drink, have some, let's just talk, let's just see our product. We'll walk you through them all, the good, bad, and the ugly. And we invited out about 75 people, and we had about 60 or so show up.
It's a good ratio.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's kind of like, it's sales 101, right? But let's break it down. It's know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Right. So you're inviting these people in. Hey, we built this shit. They're going to get to know you face to face. So now they're getting to know you.
Yep.
Right. Since they're now having these conversations with you, they get to like you, or they get to determine if they like you or not. And if they do like you, then they can determine, hey, do I trust this person enough to do business with them, and or refer my people to them if they want to build something. Yeah, and
it was kind of cool because I heard from multiple people who are agents, and there's a lot of like bullshit in construction, and like one of my things.
You talking like drama?
Just integrity issues. So like that's my thing about this is I'm trying to bring integrity back to this shitty business where like I've been watching a lot of people get ripped off for a long time, and I'm trying to put a stop to a lot of that. But yeah, I heard from numerous realtors that were like, your guys' brand is fucking flawless. Keep it that way. I'm like, no, it's my major focus here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you're very intentional about that.
Yeah.
Why is that such a big deal to you?
Why would you want to be average?
Listen, you asking the wrong motherfucker. You know that. I get you 100%, but let's dive into it a bit.
Yeah.
Like, what transpired or earlier in your life, or what fired you up to be, almost ruthless about this? Like, no, the fucking brand is, we're going to have a good fucking name. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
I mean, for me, it was really, the sense of when in the beginning we lost a lot of money because of it. But then, too, when we started diving into the construction world and, like, on a big level and started seeing people who worked their fucking 50 years of retirement get robbed for $80,000.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
So, like, no, it's, my team knows we're doing what we say we're going to do is what we're going to do, like, period, and we're going to build a great brand behind that. And, I say it at every team meeting, every event that we have together. It's when we lose focus of the responsibility we have at hand for our clients, and we lose focus on, this isn't just another house. This is, you're shaping this person's life for the next fucking 10 years, 20 years. Like, this is a major thing. This is not like you're going to fucking Walmart buying a pair of shoes. I mean, this is a giant decision. And they made that, and you take that serious.
Yeah.
And don't lose sight of that. It's not about the money. I'm playing for legacy.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm a firm believer, too. I've said this countless times, man. Like you do the right thing repeatedly, and sometimes you lose. Okay, right? But you do the right thing repeatedly, and over time, the wins are going to outweigh the losses, and along with those wins, typically comes the money too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, we've been having everything thrown at us, every challenge, and it's again, it's when you're talking about trying to make $2-3 million bucks, that's not easy. That's not a little bit of money. And you're talking about doing it again and again and again, because I always tell my team, because I sit in sales, but sales is just one part of it. It's execution. Anybody can go sell 10 houses. Can you fucking build them all?
Can you build them
on scale?
Right. Right. And have everything done, have that customer experience, that customer journey be on point too. Make sure that the quality is still there. Man, I'm with you 100%. And I've fought that battle too in my service-based businesses. Like all of a sudden you'd have this bump in sales, right? And like, oh shit, this is what I've been waiting for because I've been sitting on my ass for the last month, right? Bump in sales, and you do everything you can. Yeah, give me that money, because you're going to need it when the next dip comes, right? Because now your business is doing this because there's no consistency to it. There's no systems, right? You get that bump in sales, you take, and now all of a sudden you've committed to this fulfillment. Like you have this window to get, like let's say you have a 1 month window to get 3 months worth of work done.
That's how it is in PA.
Yeah,
we have
fucking rough.
We have March to like October.
Yeah.
We're okay. Besides that shit.
Why don't you just fucking move already, bro?
We talk about it all the time. My partner built, he used to build 300, 400 units down in Austin. Yeah. And he's like, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm like, no, I know.
Yeah.
I know for sure.
Yeah. Talk to me about partnerships. This is somebody who you met. You guys kind of map things out on a napkin, and here you are 2.5, almost 3 years later, and you got a business partner.
Well, I have two.
Okay.
Yeah, I have two. So one of them was my brother-in-law.
Right.
He runs the remodeling division, and he's kind of like been that dude that kind of came on with me and has been through the all the shit from the very beginning, and he's just kind of that kid that I met him, working for my dad about 12 years ago, 15 years ago, and he's just never left.
Right.
And then my other partner who runs the new construction side, it really balances out well because those guys fucking hate sales and operations, and they basically are just, hey man, I want to focus on construction, and that's what I like to do. And I'm like, hey, I don't like going outside, so I'm going to sit in this office and just figure shit out. It works out real well. It really is it's a perfect partnership.
Right.
And we've had our owners meeting at the end of last year, and it was like, listen guys, thank you for taking this ride. And we all thought we were going to be rich, like we all do when we first started business. Obviously we're not, but one thing that's gave us pure hope is no one's ever pointed the fucking finger. Not one fucking time has it's been like, nah, man, this is your fault. Why we didn't make all this money? It was like, no. We're a collective team. We run under Hemlock, and that we made the mistakes.
Sure.
I don't talk in first person ever. This is a collective team effort, and everyone pulls their fucking weight.
It's one thing I look out for when I have conversations with people. Listen, there's a point in time where you need to talk about things like, I did. Okay. There's always a time for that, but there's a time for that. But especially when it comes to a team, right? If I meet a business owner and it's all I, you're going to turn me off big time. Right. And that also tells me a lot about how you are as a leader.
Yeah. You're ego driven.
You're ego driven, and you're probably a fucking dictator.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to stay away from you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Those who come in and talk about their team, it's we. It's always we. It's, man, I can't take credit for that. My fucking team nailed it. Yep. Right. Those are the people who I'm interested in talking to. Those are the people I want to learn from. Those are the people I want to, sit down and interact with and go to dinner with people like that, because I want to absorb some of what they got going on.
That's been the big shift, really, with even with Apex is it's taught me to. I mean, I've cut all the negative shit out of my life. Period. All of it. every fucking inch of it. I mean, I've had people, and I grew up in the hood. I mean, I used to be on the streets. I got dudes that like reach out. They're like, "Hey man, I'm trying to reach out to you, fucking dickhead. You think I'm like, nah, I ain't nothing better than you. I'm on a different path."
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you're still trying to use me as a tool to leverage money for you. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I am the driving force between why this company we run together. I'm like, I understand what I'm responsible for now.
Yeah.
It's more than going out and selling dope on the streets and all this bullshit. Like, it's not that. I mean, I worry about I get up every single day and know that I work for every one of my employees. Every single fucking day. I understand that. I'm like, I work for you.
Yeah.
Every day when I get up. And I feel like as a business owner, if you don't understand that you work for your employees, you're fucking losing.
Yep. 100%.
And it's that kind of culture. And because the thing is like, the team knows, like, I'm not just telling you to do some shit I've never done. I'm right next to you working my ass off every day in and day out. And because, again, if I don't get you to buy into my vision and I don't get you to buy into what we're trying to do here at Hemlock, you're never going to work your fullest.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to be, it's the same thing. Like, anywhere we go, it's like, hey, I talk is talk.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking, we're doing here. Yeah. We're not talking about anything.
Yep. 100%. Let's dive into negativity for a bit. It's a topic of mine I like to discuss occasionally.
Sure.
Because I've dealt with it all too, man. Like, I listen, man, I didn't necessarily grow up in the hood, okay? But the line of work that I was in, I had all sorts of characters coming into my place.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I've been blessed to have the unique ability to be able to communicate with anybody on this planet for the most part, whether you're that hood rat or you're that dude who's wearing a 3-piece suit driving a Ferrari. Yep. Like I just have a unique ability to be able to interact with and kind of like chameleon into
That's what I
wherever fucking setting I'm in.
I call it I'm the chameleon.
Yeah. But coming into Apex is one of the things that really started to elevate. It basically made me more aware, increased my emotional intelligence by far, right? And said, oh shit, that's all negative. Like even things you didn't think were negative before joining Apex, you realize, oh shit, that's fucking negative. And just like you, I just started like wiping that shit off my plate. So what are some of the things that you immediately noticed that you need to get rid of when you came into the program?
Everything it had to do with my past and everybody in it.
Yeah.
It's not, you hold on to things. Like as humans, that's what we do, Like I achieved success in the game, and I held on to that. Like that was my identity. I'm like, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
I had to let that go, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not a part of that anymore. And like, listen, I have no judgment, but
hold on. Let's clarify here. You said you achieved success in the game. What game we talking about? Fucking Monopoly?
Oh yeah, no, we sold drugs on a massive level.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm logistics, so we used to ship 2,000-3,000 pounds of weed across the country.
Got it.
For years. I caught a RICO case in 2000. I went to prison in 2009.
Yeah.
I did 2 years, and then I caught a RICO case in 2014. I lost in that year, I lost about $2 million.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, forfeited a lot of it to the courts, paid my attorneys, fought this case for 3 years. And that was the thing. When I quit my dad's company and I went and worked at his acquisitions, I had an ankle bracelet on. And no one knew. I wore pants for 18 months and no one knew. And I had no driver's license. I'm driving around making it happen. Yeah. I got to be home at 7 every day. And, but I was like, listen, I made a conscious decision. My wife was pregnant. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I did 22 years on probation. I got in trouble when I was 12 and got off when I was 31.
Fuck.
So I've been in the system my entire life. And it was time for me. And I look back at my story and I'm like, I don't really love this story.
Yeah.
I need to rewrite this thing. So I made a conscious decision that, anything that involves that kind of stuff, I am out.
Yeah.
I am fucking out. And because I know that I know where it's going to lead me. It's down the same shit. I've been in my entire life, a fucking revolving door of going to court.
Yeah.
The only person that wins is my attorney. So, now it's, same thing. Like I'm able to be a part of something that I can be proud of.
Yeah.
There's no negativity in our office. There's none of that. Listen, we're doing positive shit.
Yeah.
All times. And that was the thing. I caught a lot of shit from a lot of people. Like, oh, he's got his new friends now. Like, nah, bro, it's not it.
Yep.
You're on your own journey.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that journey. I made a decision, and I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
I don't fucking blame you.
I'm not doing this again. I've given up enough of my life to this, and I'm not. And it's you could, and I worry about that. Like, I worry about clients Googling who I am, but I'm open and honest about it.
Yeah.
I fucked up. It is what it is.
That's one thing I've seen Stewman do time and time again is like, he's just brutally open and honest. Like, yeah, I fucking did 2 stints in prison. There it is.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is what it is. Right? That was in the past. I'm a new person now.
It's the funniest thing now that I look at it because, like, I can't, like Stewman knows, we can't sell insurance, can't sell real estate. I can't even be a fucking Uber driver, but I can get a contractor's license and build your $2 million house. It's funny as hell. It's funny as hell. So, thank God for them still allowing us to have some sort of success.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's for sure. Some of the challenges you face there are very similar to mine. Like I even have people from my past life. I don't call it my past life. Not that I did nothing bad, but people still reach out and like, every so often, same as you, like, what's up? You hang out with your new friends now. You got this cult of people over here you're dealing with. Like you're not good enough to come and call us when you come back to New York. Like, well, no, because last time I believe we hung out and got together, all you motherfuckers did was talk about high school fucking football and the girls we hung out with then and the party. Like, bro, that shit happened 20, almost 30 fucking years ago for me. I want to know, hey, what are we doing? Like, let's have a real intelligent conversation. Yeah. What's your future look like, man? What's the legacy you're building for your kids? You writing a book today? What podcast you listening to? How are you self-developing and educating yourself so you can become the most elite version of you? You want to talk on that level? Cool, let's roll.
I'm totally in.
Yeah, totally in. But if you can't hold what I deem as a mentally stimulating conversation, right, and that changes over time as we also self-develop ourselves and get better, learn more, right? What used to be a mentally stimulating conversation will change from 1 year to the next or 10 years, right? Because we used to like talking about what girls did you date and who fucked who and who blah, 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 all that bullshit. But as you begin to learn more and grow as a person, that conversation changes. And I need it to continually evolve because I'm not fucking done, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, and you're probably the same way, I'm 42 years old right now. And I don't even think I feel like I got started yet.
No. It's funny too because when you meet with those people, you're like trying to hold on to the old conversations you used to have. Yeah. And it's like your relationship never evolved. So it's like marriage, I always talk about this with my wife. Like I've been married for about 8 years now, and we've been together about a little over almost 12. And I'm like, every 2 years we have to evolve together or we're going to evolve apart, So like, and my thing is if I haven't talked to you in a year or two, like I really don't fucking know you anymore.
Yeah.
Like a lot changes in a year, Like, I mean, even from fucking when I walked in here and joined in May to December. I mean, I've fucking been on jet with Stewman. I've been coaching with you. Like, I made a conscious decision to fucking bring out the best. Yeah. Like, and holy shit, this thing's really changed fast,
How many times you do 75 hard since you started?
Dude, I've done it a lot.
No shit.
So when I first came, I did like 100. I did 75 hard. I did fit, and I took a week break. Did phase 1, and then I took a month break. Did phase 2. Now I'm in between phase 2 to phase 3. And I'm doing 75 hard again. So I did about 136 days on last year.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
And like, was no bullshit. Like fucking, like it's. Like I said, on the way down there, me and my wife, now I got my wife doing it. My walks with me in the evening. It's been game changing. Yeah. 12 degrees. She's still out there putting in the work.
Yeah. Yeah. She understands it different, I believe, because she's out there doing it with you. Yeah. And I bet when you guys go out and do those walks, you got some real good conversation going too.
Yeah. It's helped our marriage out a ton, and again, it's, you wake up and hold yourself to the utmost accountability of, I'm going to fucking do this. Yeah. It's not about health and all the bullshit. Like, it's mental, man. It's for me, when I'm not on 75 hard, I don't feel like I'm running at optimum speed.
You're not. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So like every time I get off it, I'm like, I need this back in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm at that point now. I'm due. However, I have an excuse, and yes, it's an excuse, and I'm admitting it. So I'm taking ownership of that. I'm going to Cabo in a week. I'm going to have fucking tacos and margaritas in Cabo.
You should.
Yes. Yeah. So when I get back from Cabo, we're gonna fire some stuff up. But one of my 2022 goals, and it's not just mine. It's my wife and myself. We committed to doing 75 hard together as a couple this year. So we get back from Cabo, that fucker's going to kick off. I'm looking forward to it. I've never been more mentally strong or sharp than in the middle or towards the end of 75 hard.
You get day 55.
Yeah.
You need a whole other gear.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have another gear.
Yeah, you do.
Because your ass is kicked.
It is kicked, but also around that time is when you start saying, holy fuck, I did it. And like I ain't fucking giving up at this point because we're too damn close to even have it be an option. I remember also around that time is when the extreme confidence boosters came in naturally. For me personally, it was like, fuck, right, I did this.
Yeah. And
I remember seeing some people around that time when I was doing it, and they're like, for instance, Tony Kasai, he sees me. This is going back my first round of it. And he's like, hey, man, first off, you look great. He goes, but I got to tell you, you're walking with a different step. Like you're walking as a more confident person. Like you walk in and I feel your energy in the room. Like, yeah, I know. I don't know fucking why. This is like a byproduct of actually doing the hard work. Right? And that's something that I feel has dwindled since I initially did it.
It's weird how fast we fall back into bullshit routines. It really is. So like even at the 130 something day I did on, and I went on. I'm like I can't not wait until May to do this again. Like I have to do this again because I'm going right back to, I'm getting up at 7, not 4. Like I'm losing my biggest life hacks, and no one likes getting up. I mean, maybe they do, but I sure as fuck don't like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No.
I don't love going to the gym, but I've had to, it's weird because when you start doing 75 hard and people, will be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Yeah. Why are you choosing to do this? Because I'm like, for one, like this is going to put you to the real test.
Oh yeah.
And then it's kind of infectious. Like people around you start fucking doing it.
Oh yeah, they do.
Most don't complete it, but they're at least fucking understanding what you're going through. Yep. And when you're out on that 10 o'clock walk and it's 12 degrees, it's fucking real deal. And the wind's blowing and that is the last thing you want to do. Yeah. But again, it's like, but when you're done, you get back in the house. That it's the most satisfying thing because you check that last block, you're done.
Yeah.
Now you can sleep.
Now you can sleep.
Shut that whole thing off.
Oh, and trust me, you will fucking sleep.
Oh, you sleep real good. Yeah, it's weird because I haven't actually failed a 75 hard yet. So I'm anxious to see like if that happens, how I'm gonna react to it. Yeah. What that kind of is like, but for me, I get obsessed around things at times where I'm like, all right, well, I need to do this and this and this and this. But it's great though, because like I'll get out on my walk, I'll put a headphone in my right ear. My wife gets a left one. We're learning about NFTs. We're learning about the metaverse. We're, listening to Eric Thomas. We're bettering ourselves at all times. It's not about and even that, like even with music, like music's my love. Like I love music and but I don't listen to hip hop until I earn the day.
Bingo. I do the same shit, man. And so part of my morning routine, I get up, 5 things I'm grateful for, get ready, clean up, yada, yada. On my drive to the gym, there's only 2 things I'll allow myself to listen to. One is a podcast, the other is an audiobook.
That's it.
When I come back from the gym, then I'll give myself the option. And most times I usually listen to either a podcast or audiobook on the way home. But if I do feel the need, then I'll put on some music because, like you said, now I've earned it.
I earned the day.
And going back to negativity, if you really listen to music and you listen to the lyrics, most of that shit's negative as fuck.
For sure.
So
drags you back into the same psyche I had fucking 6 years ago.
Yeah.
it takes you down memory lane of the shit that you're trying to hold on to again. And, we've all had traumatic experiences. I think all of us in some degree, everybody in Apex has a story. Everyone in the world has some story.
Sure.
But until you let that shit fucking go, you cannot be a different person. And it took a long time for me to understand that. And that's been my biggest thing is I'm letting that shit fucking go. I am not that person. I'm rewriting my story. If you want to fucking be cool and do your shit and sulk and fucking cry about why shit didn't work out the way it fucking didn't work out, well, you're in deep shit. Yeah. Because you're going to live in that forever.
Yep.
I'm trying to get around. Like, I've had some great relationships. Jason, Chase, some guys are up in here with me. Alex. I've formed some ridiculously amazing relationships in here. And everyone that I've been in contact with, has been... It's been the missing piece.
Love it, man. Where can we connect with you? Where can we connect with you?
Oh, you can follow me on Facebook, Bryan Bercik. Hemlock Homes is our business, and Instagram is Bercik1017, and Hemlock Home Building on Instagram.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming in here today, chopping it up with us.
I appreciate you having me.
This is great content. You're a solid dude in my book, and you're one who does the work.
Appreciate it.
That's your integrity coming through right there. So if you guys like this episode, do me a favor, head over to the socials, head over to iTunes, give it a 5-star review, drop a comment. When you see this episode come out, also do me a favor and screenshot this bitch and post it up as an Instagram story. Tag myself, tag Bryan if you remember, and this will help other people find the show and ultimately succeed in business. Later.